From Sullivan Stadium, it's the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New England Patriots. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By the 1987 German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. And by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
It is a 41-degree brisk day in New England. Another sellout crowd, 61,000 at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. And if the Patriots win today, they will clinch at least a wild card berth for the playoffs. The Jets, who have been struggling, play the 49ers later on in San Francisco. In the AFC Central, the Bengals feel they must win the remaining three, which includes next week against Cleveland. Their best shot is to win the division. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Bob Greasy. And in this 14th week of the NFL season, this is a pivotal game for both clubs. And Bob, last week in Denver, the Bengals just killed themselves with critical mistakes.
It was a big mistake at the wrong time of the game as far as the Bengals were concerned. Shotgun, Dave Remington doesn't hear the snap count, snaps it when he thought it was ready to be snapped, and a critical mistake, as you said. But the thing that you have to learn from that mistake is if you can't hear, you get back up under center.
Well, the Patriots are on a sparkling run. They have won 7 in a row, and they have done it over the last 4 weeks with opportunistic type plays.
Well, different types of plays. Last week it was Eugene Profit, a rookie out of Yale, who came in late in the game, blocked a punt, and Mosi Tatupu runs it in. Now, this is the 6th time this year that New England, special team or defense, has scored a touchdown.
And we may see more of Mosi Tatupu today. Craig James will sit it out because of a knee injury, and that Patriot running game has been invisible.
Well, it hasn't been there, that's for sure, and Tony Eason has carried the load. Not a lot of people in New England area have given him the credit, but compared with last year, he's having an outstanding season.
And last week against New Orleans, Eason 22 for 38, 271 yards, while Cincinnati's explosive offense is generated by Boomer Esiason, who went 21 for 30 last week in the loss to Denver. Right off the kickoff, this is the rookie from Tennessee, Tim McGee. Across the 25-yard line, Steve Doy in on the stop. And the Cincinnati Bengals, record of 8-5, second in the AFC Central behind 9-4 Cleveland. Lineup like this: James Brooks, all-purpose back, Stanley Wilson are the runners, Chris Collinsworth, Eddie Brown, Rodney Holman, outstanding receivers for the Bengals. And Esiason goes sideline on first down. And he has Brooks out of the 34, 6-yard pickup, covered by the outside linebacker, Don Blackman. A massive front line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Anthony Munoz at 278 pounds, Kozerski 275, Remington 288. All right, the no-huddle offense getting right to it here. Sam Weiss wasting no time. Picks up the first down with Brooks, but a flag has been thrown. A 10-yard pop by James Brooks. The free safety, Fred Marion, on the stop. But a penalty will bring it back.
Thrown by the umpire, and you normally have a holding in that situation.
Number 65, offense.
And that is what it is. The right guard, Max Montoya, called on the hold.
Look to the left of your screen. Number 65 right there in the center now. To the left, had his arm wrapped around. That's a hold. Al Conway, the umpire today, right there to make the call.
Referee this afternoon, Rob McElwee. Brooks and Wilson are the running backs for the 2nd and 14. And a bullet thrown by Esiason. Eddie Brown, the wide receiver, stopped by the strong safety, Roland James. It is short of the first down. And setting the Patriots defensively up front, the rookie Brent Williams. Garen Ferris having a sensational season with 11 sacks. Now, this is the 3-4 alignment. We will see much of what the Patriots call a 4-3. What with all the injuries suffered by New England. Outstanding cornerman Lepet and Claiborne. It's a 3rd down and 6. And Brooks right at the first down marker. James Brooks picked up 7 on the play. And it is a first down for Cincinnati. Blackman and Claiborne on the coverage of Brooks, who comes in averaging 5 yards per carry, and he's run for 802 yards, also an excellent receiver.
He is the man that has made big plays for the Bengals most all of the year. The last 3 weeks, he's been contained by the defense, figuring that they want to stop him first if they possibly can.
All right, Collinsworth, top of your picture, and Brown at the near side. And here's Brooks with the acceleration for another first down and more. Brooks able to break a tackle along the way. 53-yard run for Brooks.
Well, we just mentioned how other defensives try to stop James Brooks. He is the big play man in their backfield. Takes a pitch out, gets good blocking. Reynolds 95 and Marion 31. Both are blocked. Marion gets around it a little bit. Does a good job now to stay in bounds. The Bengals with the most balanced offensive team in the National Football League. They're 4th rushing the ball and 7th passing and 2nd overall. So they can run or pass. A real problem for the defense.
And they have a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Stanley Wilson gets to the 5. Brent Williams on the stop, but a penalty marker is tossed. And it is a hold against Cincinnati. So the 2nd holding penalty during the course of these opening minutes to set the Bengals back.
Holding number 81, offense. Still first down.
James Brooks, number 21, I believe, was the man who was called. Or it was 81. Brown, the wide receiver from Miami. But Marvin, that's 2 holding penalties on this drive. Normally a 10-yard penalty will add it on to the yardage you need. It's pretty tough to overcome. The first one, the Bengals just ran right through and overcame it very quickly.
So it is a 1st and goal back at the 18. The tight end 82 Holman running over to the left side. Esiason looking right with the time. Able to complete to Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth on the reception. Catch number 56 on the season for Collinsworth. Roland James, the strong safety, on the stop. And Sam Weiss going right to the no-huddle offense.
Well, I think it's good, Marv, because what it does is it hurries the defense. You don't know whether or not you can get your defensive substitutions into the game.
2nd and goal from the 9. Esiason has hit 4 of his first 4. Back to the ground for Brooks, picking his way.
Brooks carry.
And Reynolds, an inside linebacker, on the stop. What a start for James Brooks.
Well, he's made up for that holding. Take a look at it from the end zone. Fred Marion is 31, the leader on the Bengals in tackles. Collinsworth gets a good block on Marion, and it's going to be, that's 3rd and short. Collinsworth knows who to block because Marion leads this New England team in tackles.
It is a 3rd and goal from about the 1.5. Esiason had some problems with the snap, and New England has recovered. Well, earlier we talked about the critical mistakes that the Bengals have made. A couple of bad ones last week, and right here they get down to the 1 and cough it up.
Well, this was a bad center quarterback exchange. There was no problem with the cadence or the snap count, but another critical mistake early in the game this time.
Give me a light. Ooh, Bud Light. Great game. What else?
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Pitcher of light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, Don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
The kids really like what we got them for Christmas. Radio Shack Space Patrol walkie-talkies. They're terrific outdoor fun. They have flexible antennas to withstand rugged use. And built-in Morse code keys with the code alphabet on the front, so they can talk or send messages in code. The kids like them, and I love them. Come in, Space Patrol. Time to report for dinner.
Space Patrol walkie-talkies, only at Radio Shack.
You know, young man, when you came along, your mom and I had to give up one hot little sports car. Now, can you see Daddy with some big station wagon with wood on the side? No. You know what's under there? A German-engineered fuel-injected engine. It goes vroom. And this is where your stroller and playpen go. Come on, let's go. I'm not going to trade in my driving gloves for dishpan hands.
The Patriots, number 1 in the NFL in that department of giveaway, takeaway, a plus 18, and that Cincinnati drive 7 plays, 71 yards, and Bob, all for naught.
It's got to be a big boost for New England to turn the ball over, as the defense has done so often this year. And of course, on the other side, the Bengals coming in here, a great drive, and then turn it over has to be some disappointment.
So New England, from its 1, they go double tight end, the quarterback Tony Eason, and the handoff to Tony Collins. Picked up a couple. Reggie Williams, the outside linebacker, on the stop.
Marvis, look at this again. Now, when the center blocks to our left and the quarterback turns the opposite direction, both his rear end and the quarterback's hands are going in opposite directions. So there are certain plays that a quarterback has to know that he has to stay in there a little bit longer. And the center has to make sure that the ball gets back there. That time, they weren't together, and the fumble in a critical situation.
2nd and 7 from inside the 4. And again, it is Collins. He's across the 6. Remember, last week the Patriots were held to 2 yards rushing on 18 carries, their lowest rushing total in the history of the franchise. Quick check of the scoreboard. Everything just underway, and we have goose eggs. It is a 3rd down and 4. Atlanta leading Indianapolis 7-0. The head coaching debut of Ron Meyer as head man of the Indianapolis Colts. Ron, of course, former head man here with the Patriots. And he's been able to complete for the 1st down. The tight end, Greg Beatty, who's been a major factor the last few weeks. Reggie Williams on the stop. What with the injury suffered by Greg Hawthorne, Beatty has been a money receiver for the Patriots.
Well, that's a big confidence booster right here for Tony Eason. Throwing on 3rd down, the 3rd play of the game from your own end zone. The first time you throw a pass, it's in from your own end zone. It's a critical 1st down and keeps the drive alive.
Patriots, 1st down from the 13. And Irving Fryer, who sat out last week, making his first appearance since his little drive at halftime 2 weeks ago. Tony Collins. Robert Jackson, the free safety, on the stop. Now checking out the Patriots offensively. This the alignment that started the game with Collins and Tutupu as the running backs, Morgan and Fryer and Beatty, the receivers. Paul Fairchild is back, sat out last week with a groin pull, was replaced by Trevor Maddich. It is a 2nd and 5 from the 18. 6 minutes gone by. In this 1st quarter, we have no score. And end around for Fryer. The rookie linebacker, Joe Kelly, stopping Fryer on the reverse. A 24-yard pickup.
But both teams come in with all their guns loaded. New England number 1 in the league in scoring points. The Bengals number 4, a reverse early in the game from your own neck of the woods, so to speak, down in your own territory. A gutsy call, Steve Grogan on the sideline. And when it works, it's the right call.
Always. first down at the 42-yard line. That's Fryer, 80 in motion. And it's Tupu. Stopped by right defensive end Ross Browner with some help from the outside linebacker Reggie Williams. Up front, the Bengals with Eddie Edwards, Tim Crumry, and Ross Browner. Crumry leading Cincinnati with 95 tackles. The linebackers, the rookie Kelly has been outstanding. He's playing with a bruised shoulder today. And in the secondary, veteran in the left corner, Lewis Breeden. A rookie, Lewis Billups on the right side. Fulcher and Jackson are the deep men. Now Greg Hawthorne in the backfield. Now that was the plan because the Patriots are short-handed. Collins on the carry, getting out near midfield. Carl Zander, the inside linebacker, making the stop. And the Patriots have accounted for 40 yards on the ground compared to the 2 a week ago.
Here's Hawthorne right here. Normally a tight end. He's going to come back in and double over the nose because of the injuries to the offensive backs. As you see Hawthorne getting the block on Crumry. Hawthorne is going to be used both as a tight end and a blocking back in the backfield.
It is a 3rd down and 4 at the 48. Now Eason looking to throw, but down he goes. So Eason hauled down Emmanuel King, the outside linebacker. There he is, number 90, second-year man from Alabama, first-round draft pick a year ago, on the sack. And for King, it is his 8th sack of the season. That leads the Bengals.
Well, they have 5 young players on that secondary for the Bengals. As you see, there is good coverage downfield, and Eason, not allowing himself any time to scramble, just takes the sack.
So a long series by the Patriots, but forced to punt. Rich Camarillo comes off an outstanding game last week against New Orleans. Back behind his 25-yard line, punting to Ray Horton. His way toward the 30, and gang tackle led by Guy Morris. 43-yard punt, 11-yard return, 6:22 to go in this first quarter. We have no score.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
This Jetta handles great. There's this tight curve about a mile from my house.
Volkswagen's patented rear axle constantly corrects itself.
Look, I love Christmas trees, but I don't want my dashboard to look like one.
Form follows function. Everything's there for a reason.
I can't believe what my friends paid for their German-engineered cars.
Anyone can design an expensive road car, but to design an affordable one.
Best part about my Volkswagen Jetta? It's just fun.
We like to have fun.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light.
So if you want the less smelling light beer with the first name it takes,
the dining car.
Don't just ask for a light beer.
Can I have a light?
Ask them to bring out their best.
No. Bud Light?
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Firefly.
Cincinnati head coach Sam Weish involved in some controversy this past week. It seemed he had kicked the door on the way to the post-game news conference, so a reporter asked him, "Why did you kick the door?"
This guy's out. Why did you kick the door? What is that? What's that? You've got your mouth. You kick the door. Get him out of here. Get him out. The interview's over unless you get him out.
I guess Sam didn't like the question, Bob.
Well, that's a tough situation. A guy asks a question like that after a very emotional game. I think anybody would react the same way.
And Weish did apologize for the outburst. Eddie Brown on the reception. He apologized to the radio reporter. not a clever question.
Well, it's a very emotional time out there for people that have never played the game. They don't realize and understand. And of course, last week the Denver game we already showed in the opening, the fumble late in the game on the snap. Sam was pretty upset not only with that but also the officials, and then to come in and face that question right off the bat was just a little too much for him.
The first down play, Stanley Wilson, the ball carrier, although Sam should have controlled himself a little bit more. Ed Reynolds on the stop. It'll be a 2nd down and 5 at the 39. We have no score, 5.5 remaining.
McGrew, number 50, playing for Andre Tippett, does a nice job in standing up Munoz, number 78, an unbalanced line that time for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The swing, a big hit on Stanley Wilson. Roland James, the strong safety, number 38, was right there.
James is the unknown player in that secondary. A lot of the secondary players get a lot of the credit. Claiborne, as you see, a little swing pass. James seeing it all the way. But Claiborne, Tippett leads the team in interceptions, and Fred Marion made the Pro Bowl, but that man right there has played very solidly ever since he started here 5 or 6 years ago.
And the extra defensive back being utilized for this 3rd down and 7. Big rush. Esiason able to get it away, but incomplete. Steve Kreider could not hang on.
Boomer was saying before the game that the nickel and dime package for the Patriots is the best he has seen since he's been a pro. They play very tight coverage, and they don't disguise many things. They just line up and say, this is what we're going to play. You see if you can beat us. And Boomer says there's not a lot of room to get the ball in, but it's very good. And of course, he also said we have good personnel. We'll attack them.
First punt of the day for Jeff Hayes, former Washington Redskin in his 5th year out of North Carolina, averaging only 36 per punt. There's Irving Fryer back. Hayes has the NFL's lowest punting average and net punting average, and Fryer on the fair catch at the 26. Only a 31-yard punt. So New England back to the offense in just a moment.
Where's Stacy?
She borrowed the car.
Stacy took our new Volkswagen?
Mm-hmm. She needed the Golf.
Doesn't she know that's our family car?
Of course. She knows how practical it is.
I hope so.
She knows what the Golf is for.
That's what worries me. We expect our new Volkswagen to last as long as the last one.
Oh, she just went to collect some marine specimens for school. You understand that?
All too well.
I'm Teddy Ruxpin.
Well, guys, what do you think?
I think he's great.
AT&T is in business video, the fast, easy way to get together.
Claire, as you take a look at this next chart,
When you can't be together, from your offices or selected hotels to locations worldwide.
Mais certainement. Just...
All right, everybody. Are we all set in Chicago? Okay, let's start our meeting. Now, about...
Just call AT&T and ask for business video. AT&T, the right choice.
At Braun, we believe simple is better than complicated. Order is better than confusion. Quiet is better than loud. Only through superior design can one achieve superior performance. It is this philosophy that has helped make Braun the #1 selling foil shaver in the world. What's also helped is that no other shaver gives you a closer shave. Braun, now available in America.
All the excitement and raw enthusiasm of college basketball is back on NBC. Next Saturday, Joey Meyer leads the Blue Demons of DePaul into Freedom Hall to take on Denny Crum and the national champion Louisville Cardinals. College basketball, it's the stuff weekends are made of on NBC Sports.
Patriots head coach Raymond Berry now concerned about his running back and all-around special teams man, Mosi Tatupu, was back in the locker room taking stitches, suffered a lacerated chin on that last series, but the word is he will return. So right now they go with the, well, let's see now. Collins is the single back. Hawthorne. And here is Eason for Hawthorne.
Reception.
Carl Alexander, the inside linebacker, making the stop.
Marv, the Patriots came into the game with only 3 healthy running backs. Craig James is out with a knee. We're told that they do not want to play him today. Mostly Tutupu, the only other fullback. The other 2 running backs that are healthy. Collins has some bruised ribs, however, and Dupard, the #1 rookie, is in the game at this point.
All right, Reggie Dupard out of SMU wearing number 21. Meanwhile, Collins splits off to the right side, so Dupard is the lone setback. And here he is. That is his first carry in the NFL. A penalty flag is thrown. Reggie Williams, the outside linebacker, making the stop on Reggie Dupard. Among the nation's leading runners last year. Goes 5'11", 205.
Number 76, offense, still second.
That is Brian Holloway called on the hold. Check around the scoreboard. Kansas City with a 3-0 lead on Denver. Chicago jumping in front. Miami and New Orleans are tied at 7. And Indianapolis and Atlanta now tied at 7. So the penalty will negate Dupard's first carry in the NFL. Instead, it's a 2nd down and 12 back at the 24. We have no score, 3:20 left in this first quarter. Fryer in motion. And Eason, who took a pop, goes incomplete. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver.
Updates in the first quarter. Indianapolis 7, Atlanta 7.
If you can't run the football, as the Patriots have not, then you're going to get some blitzes. Watch right here as the linebacker is going to come around and get in the pocket and give Eason not much time to throw. A little game, the defensive lineman comes inside, and then Wooten does not get back to the outside. And as you see, Eason had to throw the ball way before he wanted to, and just threw it to the open area.
Eason is 2 for 3, 14 yards, facing a 3rd down and 12. Time at the time, but broken up. Nice play by Lewis Phillips, the rookie from Alabama. The pass intended for Irving Fryer, and so a quickie series for the Patriots. And here comes the punting unit.
Rich Camarillo into punt.
Rich Camarillo had a 44-yard punt earlier this first quarter. Last week against New Orleans, 8 punts. He averaged 44 and change, including a 56-yard punt, and put a couple inside the 20. Ray Horton is back deep, waiting at his 33. And another good one. Here is Horton. Good coverage by the Patriots. Steve Doig with another special teams tackle, a 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return.
10, and they'll put the ball in play. They're on 31.
If you'd like to treat yourself to a color TV small enough to go almost anywhere, scoop up one of Zenith's great little 9-inch delights. Chances are we've got your favorite flavor. Zenith. Quality.
Howdy. Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me light. Bud Light.
Ask for Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Hi. Oh. Buy your friend a beer.
You know what Santa Claus and a quarterback have in common? We're only successful if our receivers are happy. So I take care of the hands, take care of me, with isotoner gloves. From the hefty running backs to the tall ends, isotoners fit them all. These guys, they love to get isotoners. It's the only time they receive something without getting knocked down. So this season, take care of the hands that take care of you with isotoner gloves.
If you swallow a cold pill for your stuffed nose, you have to wait for it to travel all through your body before it gets to your nose. But Tristan long-lasting nasal spray gives you fast relief right on the nose.
Saturday, the NFL plays here when the Steelers battle the Jets.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
31. And coming up following Cincinnati and New England, the Jets and San Francisco. The Jets in a struggle the last couple of weeks. They come in like the Patriots at 10-3. First down for Cincinnati. Number 31, and here is Brooks. So Brooks going wide. Ronnie LePet defensively on the stop. And there is Andre Tippett, injured linebacker, who it is expected will sit it out today, would only be used in an emergency situation.
I asked Rod Rusk, the defensive coordinator, what it meant to have a healthy Tippett in there, and obviously not to. He said, well, he makes big plays. He's the catalyst. He gets everybody else on the defense involved in the game.
Tippett with those damaged knee ligaments. Second down and 4. Stanley Wilson, and a flag has been thrown. Wilson stopped by the outside linebacker, Blackman. We're down to 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this first quarter. No score. And it's against the Patriots.
Illegal hands, number 42, defense. First down.
Illegal jam against LePet's got to be up to the face of the player on Collinsworth, right down here at the bottom. Good to see it as he comes off the line of scrimmage. He jams him. Well, I didn't see anything. It's just a shove, but that's defensive football. I didn't see any jam up around the face.
But it is a first down for Cincinnati. And the acceleration of Brooks. Roland James, the strong safety, on the stop. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Cleveland now leads Buffalo 7-0 in the first quarter, a score of interest to the Cincinnati Bengals. Miami over New Orleans 14-7. 2nd and 2 at the New England 44-yard line. Wilson. And a little extracurricular action. Ed Reynolds, number 95, made the stop. And a penalty flag throw. The officials trying to stop it before it gets out of hand.
A lot of flags early in the game, Marv. I think both teams a little anxious, and the officials doing the right thing and trying to control it early.
And the personal foul against the Bengals. So Brian Blados, big tackle involved.
New England has won the last 4 games with the Bengals, and I think the Bengals may be a little frustrated. They've played in the stadium the last 3 years.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, 74 defense, offense, 74 offense.
It is Brian Blados who was called on the personal foul.
Well, let's take a look. Watch for 74 in the dark jersey, right in the middle, near the top, right at the top there now. He's coming in. Well, we lost him. Let's keep watching. Maybe he'll come back in. Well, I didn't see anything, but I'm sure something went on down there. A lot of shouting and yelling. They don't throw flags for that, though.
Obviously, the opinion was that Blados, similar to a National Hockey League situation, was the instigator. And the call was made against the right tackle in his 3rd year out of North Carolina, Brian Blados. It'll be a 2nd down and 14.
Comment I was making, Marv, that the Bengals have been up here in New England the last 3 years and have not won a game up here, and I think they're a little frustrated coming in here, and also frustrated by that fumble on the 2-yard line on their opening drive.
Cincinnati's last win against New England was back in '75, and that was at Riverfront in Cincinnati. Right here is Esiason throwing on the run, and it was broken up. The intended receiver, the tight end, Rodney Holman.
Defended by Garen Veras.
And Garen Veras making the play.
The 44.
And And he has had a sensational season.
Second year in the league. Ed Kyatt, the defensive line coach, says he is one of the best there is in the league right now. He's very intelligent, of course, coming out of Stanford. You might expect that to be the case, but he says very quick and sees very well for a defensive lineman.
It is a 3rd and 14, and look at this alignment. Esiason with the time and fires deep, and he has Tim McGee. Ernest Gibson on the coverage. A 51-yard pass play.
Ernest Gibson.
Well, there were 4 receivers lined up on the same side of the field, Marv. Nobody in the backfield. Look to the top here. 4 wide receivers. McGee is just going to go straight down the field. As you see to the right of your screen, there are only 2 deep safeties, and they are very deep. Now, the one gets held up, and McGee runs right past him, holds his arm up. Now, he has to come back, and he makes a good play on the ball. But Esiason doing well just to find him and get the ball down there.
McGee, the rookie out of Tennessee, first-round draft pick. Esiason is 7 for 9, has a 1st and goal at the 5. And here's Brooks.
He's close.
Roland James able to stack him up. Brooks turning away for those extra steps, and his forward progress was stopped.
I think it's a good time to mention, Marv, that the Bengals are running well on the Patriots, but the Patriots are hurting in that defense. We mentioned earlier that Tippett was out. Also out of there, McGrew usually plays inside. Reynolds is inside playing for him because McGrew is outside playing for Tippett. They have a lot of new faces on that defense inside.
And with the Bengals on the doorstep once again, this first quarter has come to a close.
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery, and when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
He's Reggie Williams of the Cincinnati Bengals, an NFL star who suffered severe hearing and speech problems as a child.
I came to Cincinnati as a rookie in 1976 to play for the Bengals. Being a part of the National Football League was a dream come true for me. But there was a special part of that dream that counted even more to me. And that was being selected to represent my team and our community in a United Way message. I told of my own personal problems of speech and hearing loss, and showed how, as a United Way volunteer, we were solving problems, helping the deaf. Well, I'm still part of the NFL, and the Bengals again have their sights on making it to the Super Bowl, hoping this little guy can join us. And me? Well, I'm still a United Way volunteer, helping children with hearing and speech problems. In the National Football League, we do more than play football. We become a part of our community through the United Way. The United Way, thanks to you, it works for all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Mosi Tatupu took a couple of stitches in the locker room a moment ago, getting ready to return. We have seen a bit of the gimmickry of Sam Wyche. What's your feeling about his offensive philosophy?
I like it. I think as many things as you can do offensively to limit the defense or give some confusion to the defense, you're better off.
And as we get underway in the second quarter, Don Blackman with the hit. Folks, the play has been over for seconds as Larry Kinnebrew, who has been in and out of the Sam Wyche doghouse, tried to thunder his way in.
Most spectacular is on the play defensively for the Patriots. 3rd and goal.
So it'll be a 3rd and goal. Larry Kinnebrew, only a second play the last 3 weeks. And this time it is run in by Kinnebrew. Larry Kinnebrew, a fullback and then some, listed at 258 pounds. And And he has scored his 8th touchdown of the season. The Bengals take a 6-0 lead.
Well, Kennebrew is not too happy about not playing full time, and Esiason was saying when he gets in there on short yardage or goal line, he says he does not want to be stopped, and as evidenced right there, just running over some people. But he's got to be at least 265 or 270, and when he's mad, I would not want to be in front of him trying to tackle him.
Now the extra point attempt by Jim Breach. So Cincinnati taking a 7-0 lead, 9 plays, 69 yards over 3 minutes, 28 seconds.
The time, right now. The place, your Mazda dealers. The event, Goodbye 86. We're saying goodbye with goodbyes on all our 87s, 323s, 626s, even our X7s. And right now, special factory cash incentives can save you hundreds on 87 V2000 trucks. Buy now while sales tax is still deductible. But hurry, the end is almost here. So visit your Mazda dealer for a good buy now. Don't let time run out.
Which 35mm camera took these photographs? Here are a few hints. Its autofocus system is incredibly accurate. Its ingenious lens produces images of exacting sharpness. Its range of accessories make it extremely versatile, and its film is based on a brilliant new chemistry. Which 35mm is it? None. It's the amazing new Spectra system from Polaroid. Polaroid, we take your pictures seriously.
High above the Loire Valley is a castle that has enchanted travelers since the Middle Ages. But now travelers of all ages can be enchanted at the Hotel de la Bretèche. But if you go there, remember, bring your nose for wine and your Visa card. Because you can't check out without a glass of Pouilly Fumé. And you can't check in with American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By Apple Computer, makers of the Apple II, the educated choice in personal computing. And by AC Delco, the smart parts.
It is a 41-degree crisp day in New England. Marv Albert along with Bob Greasy. The Cincinnati Bengals have just taken a 7-0 lead on the New England Patriots. And here is the kickoff from Jim Breach. Stephen Starring from his 5. Out to the 22. Barney Bussey in on the stop. Cincinnati claiming there was a fumble and that they recovered. As the officials look to unravel.
Bob McElwee and his crew having a tough time here early in the ball game, keeping these two teams apart.
It's been a very physical start, but it will be New England ball. No fumble is the call. Well, you try what you can, Bob. Cleveland leads Buffalo by the score of 7-0. Giants and Washington still scoreless. Miami over New Orleans in the second quarter. And Pittsburgh leads Detroit now in the second. Mosi Tatupu has made his return of the backfield with Reggie Dupart. First down from the 23. And here's Dupart. Could not make the turn, so now that officially is his first NFL carry. The strong safety David Fulcher able to string it out. That's Fulcher, number 33.
Mosi Tatupu just came back from the locker room, had some stitches in his chin. Now he comes back out. Good blocker, gets a good block on Jackson, but Jackson gives ground and makes the tackle. Tatupu very valuable to this team, especially on their kicking and special teams.
It is a 2nd and 7 from the 26. Now Collins in there with Tatupu. And Eason throws sideline, has the first down with Stanley Morgan. Reggie Williams on the coverage, a 10-yard pass play.
There's Sam Weich on the sideline talking to his offense. You know, that no-huddle offense, Marv, what it does, it kind of breaks the tempo. It forces the defense to do something they're not used to doing. And Sam is saying that his players like it. He says they get juiced up about it, and they obviously do it very well.
first down from the 36. And some jumping and some flags. And Brian Holloway doing some pointing.
Holloway saying, listen, I know I was offsides.
Number 76.
I know I moved.
Still first down.
But you don't have to come and hit me about it, right? Holloway moving just a little bit too soon. Right here is Holloway anticipates the count. Now the linebacker Williams on that side comes in and says, I'm going to hit you. Holloway says, now, I don't like that. I'm going to catch you later on in the game.
And it's the second call on Holloway. Here's Dupart to the 32-yard line. Jim Scow, the rookie defensive end out of Nebraska, making the stop. Scow coming on for Eddie Edwards up front with Crumry and Browner. There he is. Cincinnati coaches feel he should add some weight, a little light for a defensive end.
Last play for Cincinnati.
He certainly has done very well. He's come in their fourth man on pass rushing and has played very well.
Second down 13. And a quick hit. And the ball was jarred as Collins continues to have his difficulties. Emmanuel King on the stop, along with Jim Scow. Collins is wearing special padding to protect a rib injury and really has had difficulties.
Well, the Patriot faithful here giving some boos because of the running plays. Raymond Berry said we're going to try and continue running the football as we see a Patriot down on the play.
Collins has carried.
Yeah, probably Collins with his ribs again. But Berry says we're going to try to continue running, and the Bengals have not shown a good defense against the run.
Collins has carried 5 times for only 12 yards. We'll take a break. Back after this.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
In the tradition of Christmas past, Zales brings you the Christmas present. Gifts with style. Stunning diamond solitaire pendants and earrings, now 20% off. These quarter-carat earrings are just $1.99, and this 1/3 carat pendant, $5.39. Zales Christmas presents. Buy now and pay nothing until April of '87 at Zales.
Searching here for predictions and there for analysis. Oh, the dilemma of choosing the right pregame show. We at NBC Sports suggest you put as much effort into choosing a pregame show as you did with those home improvements. Possibly more. NFL 86, the one you'll choose.
A moment ago, Tony Collins was helped off the field, and Bob looks like he's trying to walk it off.
They were looking at his left ankle, and they carried him off the field, but it looks like he's moving around pretty well.
It is a 3rd down and 14 for New England from the 32. Cincinnati 7, New England nothing. We're early, second quarter. And Eason from the shotgun. Good hit by the free safety, Robert Jackson, on Irving Fryer.
On the reception.
A 10-yard advance, but short of the first down, so the punting unit will check in.
Rich Camarillo into punt.
Irving Fryer sat out last week after suffering a concussion during his halftime automobile accident 2 weeks ago, along with that shoulder injury. And here's Ray Horton awaiting the punt from Camarillo. Horton is back at his 20. Another strong punt by Camarillo. Horton on the return. A 42-yard punt. Jim Bowman on the stop. 14-yard return by Ray Horton. Man who last week in Denver muffed a punt on a fair catch call, which led to a touchdown, although Horton's averaged about 14 yards per return.
Mike Martin, the normal punt returner for the Bengals, is out with an injury, and then of course Horton has got to take it over and has been doing a fair job, but has made a couple of mistakes.
So Cincinnati first down from across the 30-yard line. Boomer Esiason, who emerged last year after spending his rookie season learning the trade. Last year finished second in the AFC behind Ken O'Brien. Goes to the ground. Oh, a fake and a beauty. Eddie Brown down at the 20. Boomer Esiason on the play action for a 46-yard bomb.
Brown seems to be limping a little bit. It was good play action. So you see Claiborne, 26, is looking into the backfield. Now the play action was designed for him and 31, Fred Marion. They were blitzing on the play. Marion came up to make the tackle, and then Brown got behind both of them. A good execution, good call.
Bengals at Patriots territory at the 23.
And Brown comes up hobbling. It is a first down at the New England 23. Stanley Wilson reversing his field. Roland James, strong safety, forced him out.
Wilson knocked out of bounds by Roland James.
Giants and Redskins are still scoreless.
Second down, 11.
Now Miami in front of New Orleans, 21-7. New Orleans playing New England very tough last week. Pittsburgh in front of Detroit. And Atlanta over Ron Meyer and his Indianapolis Colts. It's a 2nd and 11 from the 24. Brooks makes the turn.
Easy. Good job.
And bumped out of the 16 by Fred Marion. James Brooks, who has flourished in Cincinnati's diversified passing attack. Man who can catch the ball downfield as well as any back in the NFL, as we saw earlier.
It'll be 3rd down 3.
They call him shake and bake. He's got so many moves. He can stop and go. The one thing he can't do is block very well, but they don't ask him to do that very often. Cincinnati's offense has all the ingredients: speed at wide receivers, a big back in Kennebrew and Johnson and Wilson, and then the speed in Brooks.
3rd down 3. And here's Brooks. Johnny Rembert with several others of his friends all over James Brooks. It is a loss of 11.
For the last 2 plays, the Patriot defense has stretched both teams from side to side. Wilson on the last time as Kennebrew gets a block on McGrew, but then Rembert scraping to the outside, and there's no place for Brooks to go.
And a field goal attempt coming up for Jim Breach, who has not had a good season. 14 for 28. That is the worst percentage in the NFL. Last week against Denver, missed a 39-yard attempt. Previous week against Minnesota, 1 of 3. It's a 44-yard attempt. Angle to the left. And it is no good. So Jim Breach continues to have his troubles.
Hi, girls. Hi, Doreen.
Hi, Andy. Ready for the history final?
History final? Is that today?
It sure is.
Oh, man, I forgot all about it. Let me borrow your notes, will you?
Andy, class starts in 5 minutes.
What?
See you, Andy. Hope you have your term paper finished.
Wait. I haven't written a
history class in a while. I've forgotten which room it's in.
Right here, Andy. Mr. Spencer's gonna kill you.
The reason more kids use Apple than any other personal computer is because it makes keeping up with school a lot easier. And that makes waking up to school a lot nicer.
The time, right now. The place, your Mazda dealers. The event, Goodbye 86. We're saying goodbye with good buys on all our 87s, 323s, 626s, even our X7s. And right now, special factory cash incentives can save you hundreds on 87 B2000 trucks. Buy now while sales tax is still deductible. But hurry, the end is almost here. So visit your Mazda dealer for a good buy now. Don't let time run out.
Don't resist.
Tonight, this woman is a fraud. Anastasia is dead. The mystery of Anastasia comes to life.
Cincinnati receiver Steve Kreider, who handles the holding in field goal situations, and here's the attempt by Breach.
Snap was a little bit low and inside. Kreider kind of jammed him. Ed Brady brought in just to do the snapping.
So the Patriots first down from the 27, and Eason going deep. And it is broken up by Lewis Breeden. A pass intended for Irving Fryer. Breeden goes 33. He's 33 years old, but still a good cover man. He was right with Fryer.
Well, obviously the Patriots thought that he was the man to attack because they go deep on him. Breeden sees it all the way, and actually Fryer does a nice job of not allowing him to make the interception. There's Emmanuel King. He thought we had a interception. We got it. No, we don't get it. Don't go on it.
All right, 2nd and 10. Eason able to scramble free. Slightly overthrown, intended for the tight end, Greg Beatty. Emmanuel King on the coverage.
Cincinnati getting good pressure on Eason. King on Beatty, linebacker, big linebacker, 250 pounds, covering Beatty. Beatty does the right thing. He goes the same direction the quarterback, then pays the price as the ball is almost intercepted by Jackson.
5.5 minutes gone by, 2nd quarter. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead, and the Bengals dominating in terms of total yardage. Eason is 4 for 8, but only 33 yards on those 4 completions. 3rd down 10. And Eason with the touch pass. Morgan could not hold on, and he was covered by Breeden.
Good tight coverage, but the ball was right there and should have been caught. As Breeden is holding his left arm or shoulder a little bit low. Tight man-to-man coverage. It's a blitz. It's an all-out blitz, so it's man-to-man coverage everywhere he goes. This ball is thrown well, but Morgan doesn't do anything to get himself open any further. Ball hits him right in his hands, and he doesn't hold on. Morgan usually a sure-handed receiver. The second in the team with 63 receptions coming into the game.
So here's Camarillo again, this time a line drive. And Horton with the short return at the 40-yard line. Mosi Tatupu back in action on the coverage. 39-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Be sure to stay tuned right here on NBC for the second half of today's doubleheader. Most of you will see the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. That's right here on NBC. So Joe Montana and the 49ers against Ken O'Brien and the Jets. The Jet offense has gone south the last couple of weeks. First down for Esiason from the 40. Incomplete, intended for Brooks, and a flag throw. Ronnie Lepet covering James Brooks. And the rugged play in this first half continues.
Bob McElwee getting the 2 officials that are involved aside There was obviously some contact made. It was whether or not the ball is catchable, whether it was offense or defense.
Uncatchable ball. No foul. Uncatchable ball.
Couldn't hear what the call was. Call is it's an uncatchable pass. Let's take a look. Well, I didn't see any flag. Why a flag should have been thrown to begin with. The ball was past him by the time the contact was made. And I think the bottom result, the end result, is good. There's no flag on the play.
So the conference dealt with whether it was a catchable ball, and the conclusion was it was not. So no penalty, and a 2nd and 10 from the 40. And Esiason gets it away. Caddis, a backup tight end, stopped by Don Blackman. Esiason taking the hit. And Esiason with a beautiful side step. The Patriots thought they had him.
The intensity of the football game is heating up, as you saw in the face there. Veras says, I thought I had that sack easy, and the nimbleness of Esiason avoids a 5 or 6 yard loss. The Patriots going to more blitzing, more pressure on Esiason. The last 2 times he's thrown, he hasn't had time to look around.
It's a 3rd and 9. That's Kreider in motion. Intended for Kreider.
Well, you saw what the Bengals called. Sam White said, well, if we're getting too much pressure, we're going to move the pocket. That time he had Esiason roll to his right, and he just overthrew him. And, of course, the best defense against the quarterback is put that pressure on him, let him know somebody's coming after him. He had time to throw now. He just doesn't throw it very well.
Second punt of the day for Jeff Hayes, who drops back to his 26-yard line. His first punt only a 31-yarder, and he'll punt to Irving Fryer. And this is a good one. Fryer backs up.
He's got some room.
Irving Fryer flashing his speed, and it puts the Patriots in excellent field position. A 45-yard punt and a 54-yard return.
One of the big differences in these two teams are their special teams. Their kickers for New England are much better, and this time, punting with the wind, Hayes gets a good punt. He outkicks his coverage, and Fryer gets up the sideline. White said, one of the things I want to do this year is get more speed on my special teams. Fryer with an excellent return.
Irving Fryer making his return to action here in a big way. First down at the 32-yard line. This is the rookie DuPont. Robert Jackson ran him out, but a first down. Reggie Dupont picking up 11.
This might be exactly, Marv, as we take a look at the scores, what the Patriots running game needs, and that is some youth and some enthusiasm. Dupont coming in, he doesn't know any better. Just give me the ball. I'll take 3 yards, 4 yards, sure. Fine, this might be exactly what they need. 28th in the league coming in rush are the Patriots.
First down at the Cincinnati 21. The Bengals lead it 7-0. And here is Dupont on a slant. Picked up a yard. Emmanuel King on the tackle. Right here, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 5, WLWT, Cincinnati.
Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. Cincinnati in front by the score of 7-0. A 54-yard punt return a moment ago by Irving Fryer, leading to the Patriots in this situation. A 2nd and 9 from the 20. Incomplete, throwing it behind Collins. So Tony Collins, who hobbled off several moments ago is apparently all right. Ray Horton on the coverage of Collins.
And he means so much as we take a look to the right of the screen, 33. It's an option. He has the right to break either way, and this time he doesn't take it downfield far enough, or at least Easton thought he was going to go downfield a little bit more before he broke out Horton on the coverage. But Collins means a big deal to this offense. Leads the team in receptions and 344 yards running the football.
3rd and 9, and Easton is 0 for his last 4. And fumbles the snap. And able to cover up.
Steve Grogan on the sideline readjusting his plays as we take a look. Snap was right there, and that's one of the problems with a shotgun. The quarterback wants to look downfield. To catch the football, you have to take your eyes off of the defense and catch the football and then look back up. That time, he didn't catch the football first.
So Tony Franklin with a 44-yard attempt. He's hit 12 straight, 14 of the last 15. But this one, no good. Franklin missing a 44-yard attempt as Breach did earlier. Franklin kicking into the wind.
And it's a strong wind, Marv. At the beginning of the ball game and in pregame warm-ups, there was not a wind at all, but the wind has really come up.
So the score remains Cincinnati 7 and New England nothing.
Let's remind you to pick up the official Patriots yearbook at the stadium today and receive a free Patriots pennant.
Cincinnati taking over, first down from their 27. 7:15 left in this first half. Brooks. Good second effort by James Brooks. Lawrence McGrew, outside linebacker on the stop.
Franklin, he hasn't missed many this year. He's the leading scorer in the National Football League and has kicked more field goals than anybody in the league. And you're entitled to miss one now and then. Cincinnati defense huddling around Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator.
2nd and 3 from the 34. Wilson. Picks up the first down. Stanley Wilson in his 3rd season out of Oklahoma. Sat out last year, suspended for drug abuse by the National Football League. And had a good one last week. 77 yards, 8 carries against the Broncos.
Had surgery on his knee earlier in the season, Marv, and Sam Weich was saying he had a little problem coming off the drugs even from that small operation. He says, but he comes in every week and says, I want the urinalysis test weekly. He says, I want to prove that I've beat this thing.
All right, first down from the 42. Esiason able to step up. Complete through the hands of the tight end Rodney Holman. Esiason took a shot.
They're not as wide open as they normally have been, are the Bengals, because coming in, they were concerned about the turnovers that the Patriots defense has been getting, and they have done a good job today at not turning the football over and giving that Patriot offense an opportunity for a short field where they could go in and score.
Boomer is 9 for 14, 138 yards. Has a 2nd and 10 at the 42. Wilson found a hole on the left side. Getting to the 48, Don Blackman, the outside linebacker, on the stop.
The problem that the Bengals present a defense, and the Bengals certainly have the players, is that they can run the football as well as they can throw it. As we look at another linebacker injury, it's Ed Reynolds. For the Patriots. The Patriots have been hit at the linebacker position. Steve Nelson going down a few weeks ago, and Andre Tippett.
This club has been destroyed by injury, yet they've hung in. They've won their last 7. A record of 10-3. Ed Reynolds, an important man on the special teams in his 4th season out of Virginia. As a result, people like Mel Black and Steve Doig have been signed. Check this out. Back in week number 1, opening day for the Patriots, a look at the starters. And now Bob, by virtue of
cross off James, Collins has been hurt. Starring is no longer the starter. Hawthorne has been injured. He's not starting. And then also Moore. Those are the 4 players on offense. Defense is the same problem. As we look at the defense, Tippett, Thomas is no longer with the Patriots. Tippett has been hurt. Nelson is out for the year. And then James missed 1 game, but those 3 were out. And last week they had a problem with, as mentioned, Nelson and Tippett, 2 other linebackers that have been out and not playing. Clayton Wysoon, Ed Williams is a linebacker, and Brian Ingram. So they've had the problems with injuries all at the same position.
And defensive end Kenneth Sims has been out of action with a back problem.
And what this has forced him to do is go from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3. And Raymond Berry says, I leave all that defensive stuff to Rod Rust, the defensive coordinator, who, and there's Rod, who Steve Nelson says is a genius, and certainly, as Rod admits, he says, I have good personnel, and I like to move them around. He's done a fantastic job with them.
Down and 4 from the 48. Bengals 7, Patriots nothing. Siason getting the time. And that was deflected. It was intended for Tim McGee. Johnny Rembert on the coverage. So the Cincinnati drive has been stopped.
Siason knew that there would be tight coverage in the secondary if he just had time to wait till they got open. Good coverage in the secondary allows the rush to get there. As Irving Fryer is back, hoping that he can maybe get another long return to set up the offense.
Moments ago, he returned a Jeff Hayes punt, 54 yards, but the Patriots not able to capitalize. Tony Franklin's 44-yard field goal attempt was off the mark. Now he pops it high. Fryer on the fair catch inside the 20, a 33-yard punt by Hayes, but this time no return. Patriots will take over. The Giants on a Phil Simms touchdown pass to Bavaro, a 9-yard strike. Jumping in front, but Washington has tied it at 7.
Even as we look at the 10-minute ticker, it changes on us. Chicago.
1-0 Chicago, and Miami maintaining the lead on New Orleans. 5:11 remaining in this first half. First down from the 20-yard line. Intended for Collins. Joe Kelly, the inside linebacker, on the coverage of Tony Collins.
Well, that was a well-designed play, Marv. They got their leading receiver, Collins, on the rookie, Joe Kelly, and it was good coverage. Play action, didn't fool Kelly. Kelly says, I've seen this before. He's breaking to the outside, and that's as good a coverage as you can have. The ball is just thrown poorly in behind him.
Joe Kelly sat out most of the second half last week in Denver with a bruised shoulder. His dad, Joe Sr., played for the LA Rams and for Montreal in the Canadian Football League. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Eason is only 4 of 11. Here's DuPont. Picked up 3 of 4 on the play. Reggie Williams on the stop. The word on Ed Reynolds, Patriot linebacker, is that he should return. Just had the wind knocked out of him on that last series.
Ducard picking 4 to the 24. It'll be 3rd down.
And Paul Fairchild, who sat out last week with a groin pull, had a foot injury. And Trevor Matich is in there at left guard. This is the second series that Matich has played. So Fairchild is sidelined once again. It's a 3rd down and 6 out of the 24. And Eason going deep sideline. So he is 0 for his last 6. Stanley Morgan, the intended receiver, covered by Lewis Breeden.
What's happening, Marv, is they got tight man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and the Bengals are getting a good rush on Eason. Eason doesn't want to hold the ball too long. As you look at Grogan, Grogan is calling the plays for Tony Eason, and he sees what's going on. He called the pass earlier to get Collins on the rookie Kelly. So they're trying to get at the weaknesses, but they got good defense, and I'm sure those two will talk it over with and try to come back something later on and see what they can do.
Rich Camarillo punting for the 5th time this afternoon from the 9-yard line, and Horton is back. Horton calling fair catch. And Cincinnati to the offense. With 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this first half, a 37-yard punt by Camarillo.
Surprising, the score is only 7-0. We mentioned earlier 2 of the top scoring teams in the National Football League, and only 7 points have been put up on the board.
Although Esiason said, hey, this is not going to be a 35-30 or 40-35 game, he said, not against the New England Patriots. First down from the 39, Brooks. Stopped by Rembert.
James Brooks.
The only score of the day run in by Larry Kinnebrew to cap a 9-play drive right at the start of the second quarter. Cincinnati had another threat, but fumbled it away. Down at the 1-yard line, but then able to come roaring back. 2nd and 11 as Brooks lost a yard. 3.5 to go in this first half. And it is broken up. Intended for the tight end Holman, and Ed Reynolds, who had the wind knocked out of him just a few minutes back in there and able to make a good play.
Good play by Reynolds. The New England linebackers, 52 is Rembert, filling in for Nelson and doing an outstanding job. Nelson, the leader, the inspirational leader, but Rembert has come on and played very well. Now the quarterback is scrambling this way. The linebackers see it. They keep their position and do a nice job. Rembert had him if he crossed the line of scrimmage, and Reynolds was covering the receiver.
So a 3rd down and 11 from the 38. And Esiason able to complete for the first down to Tim McGee. McGee with 2 excellent catches. This one for 20 yards, but a flag thrown.
And a penalty on Garen Veras. I think it was roughing the quarterback. Will be added on to the play, but 2 interesting things there, Marv. Number 1, he sized in on 3rd down up under center, not in the shotgun position.
There's no foul. Roughing a passer. Number 60, defense going to the head. And forced from the end of the play.
Like he's on tape delay.
Yeah, we don't hear him too well, but take a look. The middle of your screen, right up the middle of the pocket. Number 60 in the white. The ball's gone. Up. They called him for hitting him up near the head in the helmet area. And the other thing that's impressive to me is that Esiason throws this ball with only his arm as McGee breaks to the inside. Now that's Eugene Profit, number 22. Profit is the smallest man on the roster for the Patriots. He's 5'10", 165, and Rod Russ says we're going to find somebody small for him to cover, and McGee is small at 5'10".
So the first down, and Brooks stopped by Reynolds. In all, that last play covered 35 yards with the penalty tacked on. And Brooks collected 5 more. You see the clock running down, approaching 2.5 minutes to go in this first half.
Did you see the way Esiason just flipped that ball? He didn't even step forward. He just threw it with his arm, and he had to throw it about 25 yards and threw it to the inside for McGee.
2nd and 5 at the New England 22. Brooks up the middle.
Brooks once again.
Blackman on the stop. And it is close to the first down. James Brooks in his 6th year out of Auburn. He spent 3 years with the San Diego Chargers. This is third year with Cincinnati. And they're calling for the yardsticks. That's short. It'll be a
Harold Jackson, a wide receiver coach for the Patriots, looking on, has done an outstanding job with Stanley Morgan, Irving Fryer, and the young receivers that the Patriots have.
It's a nice twosome.
Got a lot of footballs in this league. Raymond Berry and Harold Jackson.
It'll be a third down and inches as we close in on the 2-minute warning. Cincinnati leading New England 7-0. We'll be right back.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Heart surgery. Before it can be performed, doctors need vital information. X-ray films tell them a lot, but they could tell them even more. That's why at an IBM scientific center in Winchester, England, computer researchers and doctors are working together to transform the conventional X-ray into something remarkable. A three-dimensional computer model of a patient's arteries. This IBM technology is also being used to create a computer model of a patient's beating heart. This experimental project is an example of innovation at IBM. And one day, it could be another way computers help doctors save lives.
Patriots, the AFC champions a year ago, but Bob, this season would prefer to do it without doing it via the wild card route.
Well, I don't think they can do it 2 years in a row, get to the Super Bowl if they're on the road each game. They did it last year, but I don't think they can do it this year.
A win today would clinch a wild card spot.
Ball was carried by
Larry Kinnebrew picking up the first down, so he has done the job in the couple of occasions that he has been used in a cameo role here today. Scored the touchdown from a yard away and now picks up the first down. First down at the 16-yard line. Cincinnati Bengals come in at 8-5, second in the AFC Central behind 9-4 Cleveland. And they feel they have to win their final three, and they face the Browns next week. Esiason in trouble. Able to get it away beautifully for Stanley Wilson. Blackman on the tackle, but once again we see the mobility of Boomer Esiason, who appeared to be hit for a big loss and then was able to get something out of it.
That's exactly right, Marv. The Bengals, one of the least sacked teams in the league, and mainly because of the elusiveness of Boomer.
Well, the Giants now lead Washington 14-7. We'll check out the rest of the scoreboard. A timeout has been called. We'll be back in a moment.
Nowadays, when it comes to telecommunications, there's a great deal of confusion. With so many different products and services available, it's a real problem knowing what's just right for your company. Well, we have a way to end that confusion and solve those problems. We can help custom tailor an entire telecommunications system to your company's exact needs. No, GTE.
All right, back to our 10-minute ticker. Phil Simms has thrown his second touchdown of the day. Cleveland leads Buffalo. KC over Denver. And Doug Flutie ran one in for his first NFL touchdown.
I was wondering when the Bears would get around to Flutie. You know, he's a winner. He has won in the college level. Let's see what he can do at the pro level.
2nd down and 6 from the 12-yard line. 54 seconds to go in the half. And here's Wilson. And he has the first down. Fred Murray on the free safety on the stop. The clock running, as you can see.
First down for the Bengals. At the Patriots 5. It'll be first and goal to go.
Cincinnati Bengals, 289 total yards to the Patriots 83.
The Patriots were concerned about the ability of the Bengals to control the ball. They certainly have done that today.
And now a timeout is called, so the clock stopped with 28 seconds remaining and a first and goal from the 5, and the Bengals talk it over.
You know, I don't know if this does any good as far as the coach talking to the offensive lineman, because he's talking to the quarterback. He may talk to a running back or something, or a wide receiver. But I think what it does is confuse the defense. You don't know who's going to come out of that huddle and go on. They may come out with 4 wide receivers, and the defense will not be able to react quickly enough.
So a 7-0 Cincinnati lead over New England on a 1-yard plunge by Larry Kinnebrew to get the second quarter underway. Cincinnati has dominated statistically. Boomer Esiason has had a good day. Tony Eason has not to this point. In fact, he is 0 for his last 6, and Sam Weish, the Cincinnati Bengal head coach, would like to add to that score. First and goal from the 5. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from Foxborough. And Stanley Wilson picks up a couple on the play. Brent Williams and several New England linebackers involved on the stop. Timeout call, 21 seconds remaining.
And that's his last timeout. The problem with running the football down here is you don't stop the clock. You have to use your timeouts. Now, if you go for it, you have to throw the ball, and it either has to be a touchdown or an incompletion.
It'll be second and goal from the 2.
The 10th play of the drive is coming up.
And here's Stanley Wilson, who Esiason said has really been playing well. Walter, number 63, drives his man to the outside. And again, good defense by the Patriots, forces the last time out, and you're going to have to, I would think you're going to see Esiason on the move, scrambling by design, and either throwing it into the end zone for a touchdown or for an incompletion. 2nd down and 2, so you have 1 down to play with, and then stop the clock if an incompletion and kick the field goal if you want.
Jim Breach missed from 44 yards away earlier.
It's interesting the way they come right from the sideline. Now that's different for the defense. They're normally used to seeing the offense break from the huddle and find their men. When you come from the sideline, you don't know what you got.
And they have the big guy Kinnebrew in there along with Wilson.
This is a mistake. They can't stop the clock.
Esiason trying to line them up quickly. The clock running.
6.
You see him running down, and now he stops the clock. Well, let's see if we get a call here of intentional grounding.
No, it's all right to do that as long as you're not throwing it to avoid a loss. You can take it and throw it right down in the ground. But that's the problem right there. Just can't fool around with it. Sam trying to be too cute. Ran 3 running plays in a row and could not stop the clock. He's looking to the officials who have already gone off the field. A big mistake.
And so the score remains 7-0 Cincinnati at halftime. Opportunity is blown as Boomer Esiason tried to stop the clock, but time had run out.
For validation registration.
And check out number 7, Boomer Esiason.
He registers for the Super Bowl 21 trip.
I think he just found out that they don't have any time left. The official, McAwee, is running off the field. But that's a gamble any way you look at it, and a mistake for the offense, no matter if it was a quick clock or if it wasn't.
So that is the story at halftime. Cincinnati in front 7-0. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, come home for the holidays when Andy Williams takes the kids from The Cosby Show, Punky Brewster, Gimme a Break, and more on a magical journey to Finland, high above the Arctic Circle in search of the real Santa Claus. Andy Williams and the NBC Kids search for Santa tonight.
This time of year, every year, it's gift shopping, tree trimming, card sending, entertaining. So when I find something that saves me time, I go for it. Like party trays from the Kroger Delicatessen. They've got 16 varieties, each made to order, so I get just what I need. This year, save yourself some time. Order a party tray from the Kroger Delicatessen.
Pick up your party guide at the Kroger Delicatessen.
The time, right now. The place, your Mazda dealers. The event, Goodbye 86. We're saying goodbye with good buys on all our 87s, 323s, 626s, even our X7s. And right now, special factory cash incentives can save you hundreds on 87 B2000 trucks. Buy now while sales tax is still deductible. But hurry, the end is almost here. See your local Mazda dealer for a good buy now. Don't let time run out.
Steve Physiak with sports on News 5.
Back in Foxborough, Cincinnati in front of New England by the score of 7-0, and the Bengals had an opportunity to put up 6 more on the board.
I think it's a case where Sam was just trying to be a little bit too cute with what he was doing. Certainly it was he had 17, 18, 20 seconds left when he ran the second down play into the line, and I'm sure he told his quarterback, get up there immediately and throw the ball into the ground. But you never know how quickly they're going to spot the ball, how quickly the players are going to get back, and I think he was just a little too cute. I think he threw away 3 points at least.
Do you think that last second flew by quickly? We were watching the clock on the board.
When I saw it, there was a second, then it disappeared.
All right, we're set to send you to our studios in New York. Bob Costas and NFL 86.